Thank you for watching my video on how you can digitize a knockdown stitch in PE Design 11. Again, if you would subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. The views are what are helping me to be able to give away free designs and free instructions. So be sure and visit our webpage, and please keep coming back to this YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. We are going to go to PE Design 11, and we are going to trick the software into doing an embossed design. So I have opened PE 11, PE Design 11, and I have told it I want a new project. So I have an empty screen here. I have chosen an 8x12 hoop. You choose your hoop size as normal. I have open ready for me are these sewing attributes that I will have and the sewing order that I will have as we go. So here we are on a new screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to begin by choosing a shape. Now, I did some before that were, I thought today, let's do something fun and let's do a heart shape. So I've opened shapes and I go down here and I choose the heart. Now, I will just click and drag for the size I want my heart, and it will put it in there. Should I want to make some changes, I can do that. I can make my heart skinnier. I can make it longer. I kind of like the full heart. I'm going to hit back. But first of all, just get the basic shape that you want. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And maybe even bring this up just a smidge. Okay, now I want to come out a little more. And a little bit too much. All right, I have my heart like I want it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit, still on the Home tab, over on Arrange, I'm going to tell it to move that to the center. I want that to be in the center of my hoop. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell the computer, the design program, that what we want, we're going to click on shape here. This shape is already chosen, so we're going to hit shapes, and we're going to tell our design program that we want a running stitch around this heart. And you can choose your colors as you go. We're going to use maybe some black and reds here today just so you can see things a little better. So I have a running stitch. I do not want this sewn in the middle. So on the fill section, this region, I put not sewn. All right, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to use this same shape later to finish up our outside edge. So let's go ahead and select it. And let's, under the Home, let's do copy and paste. Now you see we have two hearts over here in our sewing order. This one we'll come back to. It's going to be our final stitch. But we're going to come back to that. We may have to move it later to be the final stitch, but we will come back, okay? All right, let's go again to our heart. Now let's start laying down what we want first. I've selected this. And the first thing is we're going to have that running stitch. As I said, we're going to have a running stitch. Now, if you're sewing this on a towel or something like that, it's nice to have this to stitch around more than once. I have put over here, I want my run time as 2. I've left the run pitch at 0.8. I'm sorry, 0.08. I've left the run stitch, the pitch there, and I'm going to run it 2 times. What this is going to do for our design is it's going to put a placement. It's going to stitch this. Now, this is not an applique, so why do we need a placement line? This line is going to secure the towel or fabric that you are embroidering on to your stabilizer. It's going to keep that from shifting and moving while this is stitching out. So that is strictly a security type of stitch. All right, the next thing we want to do is we're going to add some text. So I'm going to come over here under Home, and then I'm going to choose Text. I'm going to choose a font that I want. And on this one, I'm going to choose font number 5. It's called Script 02, and it's right now set at 0.39 inches. But That's fine. We're going to change that. So I'm going to click here in my heart, and I'm going to type mom. We're going to make a beautiful heart pillow. This could be a pillow, a towel, or whatever you'd like for mom. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. And you say, well, that's very small. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to resize this. Now, this is not really stitches yet, so we don't have to worry about this as far as the density and all. I'm just going to get mom as big as I want it. And then I'm going to come up here, and I am going to tell it again under the home arrange button to center that. All right. Now, even though that is technically centered, if you don't like it there, you can move this. I kind of like it up a little bit. So let's select that again, and let's move it up just a bit. Okay, I like it there. All right. Now, if you wanted some kind of background field stitch, we could put that into our heart. However, if we do that now, it would stitch on top of these letters. All right, even if you rearranged it, it would still stitch over those letters. And then what we want to do is we want to come back, and we don't want anything stitched within these letters. This is what's going to give us the embossed look. Everything else will be done with, I'm calling it a knockdown stitch, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But a knockdown stitch, basically, it knocks down the fabric. So if you have a towel with a lot of nap, it will knock that nap down. And they're calling this nowadays a knockdown stitch. Where do you find a knockdown stitch on PE 11? You won't. You won't find something named knockdown stitch. But a knockdown stitch is really nothing more than a tightly spaced net fill. And we do have net fill. So if we took our heart that we have here, and let's just select that. And if we told PE Design that we wanted to fill this with a net fill, okay, so up here where we had a running stitch and we had nothing in the middle, we could put a net fill stitch, and it's under your sew regions, and if you go down, you'll find net fill stitch. All right, I'm going to choose that. But the problem with this is it is also knocking down the nap where the letters are, and we don't want that to be knocked down. So that is not going to work. So we're going to hit undo. Here's the undo button. We're just going to undo that. For the time being, we're going to fill in these letters. We can just do them with a satin stitch. We're going to take this out later. Like I said, a lot of things we're doing, we're going to take them back out. Okay. Now that we have mom in here and we have it a satin stitch, we're going to make sure you're not clicked on anything else. And I want you to go to the home tab and background fill. Now, up here it says select the region. You have to select the region before this wizard will do anything for you. So we're going to select the region. The region we want is this heart. So we're going to click here. And we're going to tell it we want a decorative fill, and it says next. You may choose any decorative fill that are in these folders. It does not matter. We're going to alter it, so we don't care which one we choose. And we're going to choose, I just chose one, and you can see how it filled in this. I have minimized speed, click, and I have exclude internal pattern. The reason we want exclude internal pattern, it will do the fill, but it excludes the internal pattern of the word mom. So that won't be filled in. So we're going to say, okay. And we wait for it to fill in. Now it has filled in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our word. Our word has some space here in the middle of the O. I'm kind of circling around it, and my cursor is pointing at it. We need our fill to also fill in that middle O. All right, this time when we go through, we're going to select just the word mom. And we're going to select that. This will make it a little easier for you. Select that. And
we're going to do a background field on that. So we go to Home, Background Field.
I had to select the whole image.
Okay, we want to just select the interior of that O. And down here, your next button is kind of grayed out. When you have it selected, you should see that next button come back up. There. Now I can hit next. We have it on decorative fill again. I'm going to say OK. Like this time, this is grayed out to exclude the internal objects because we are only looking at the center of the O and there's nothing internal of the O. So we're going to say OK. When we come back, we have a lot of other things over here in our sewing order. Let's move this over just a little bit so that we can take a look at our sewing order. Okay. This is the fill stitch that is in the bigger region. Okay. This is, it should come up, the fill stitch in the bigger region should now be in your number 2 spot. In the number 1 sewing order will be the fill stitch within this small letter. If you did this, the interior of that O first, it would be second and the other would be first. But these are your 2 fill stitches right here. Now, I do not want those to sew first. I still want a part with a running stitch to be first. So I'm going to move that up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this part that we're going to use later. That's the another just outline. And I'm going to tell it I want it to sew that last. Okay. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change these 2 fill stitches. Right now, they're a leafy background quilting design, but that's not what we want. So let's start with the bigger one. I think it'll be easier for you to see. And we're going to select that. We're going to select that. And as you see up here, we have that it's a no-sew line, but it is filled in with a decorative fill stitch, which we don't necessarily want. So we're going to change it to what I use for a knockdown stitch. So I'm going to click the right arrow and I am going to go down the list to the one that says net fill stitch. I'm going to hold this here right here so you can take a look at it. If this is in another language, you'll be able to see what this stitch looks like. And I'm going to tell it to change that background stitch to that net fill. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for that little interior O. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change it to this net fill stitch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change both of these on the sewing attributes. So I have the attributes up. We're going to go over here to sewing attributes. We're going to select. This is the larger fill area, and we have it over here. And we're going to change some of this region sew. We do have the pattern we want now, but I am going to do the spacing down to 0.08. 0.08. On the direction, I am going to change the direction to give this just a little bit better look. It won't be so up and down. It'll give us more of a diagonal. And I changed my diagonal to 326 degrees. Let's take a look. Let's zoom in. And now you can see this stitch. You see the middle has not been changed yet, the middle of the O. So let's change that one. So let's select that object. And let's change the sewing attributes to that where the spacing is 0.08. And let's do the same number of degrees on this one so that it will match. Now this matches this one. It looks sometimes a little bit different, but when it stitches out, it will all look fine. Okay. So let's go back and minimize our picture a little bit. And And here we can see the whole thing. Next thing we want to do is we're going to select on the word mom. So go over here in your sewing order, find that and select mom. Now it is all selected. Up here, you have a running stitch around it and you have a satin stitch in the middle. I am going to take the satin stitch out and I'm going to make that a no sew region. At this point, what we have is we have our background knockdown or net field stitch. We have the word mom on here. It is not going to stitch anything in the middle. There is no background stitch. There's no satin stitches on the interior of this. This means that if you put this, say, on a towel, you're going to have your towel or background fabric showing through. And if it's a towel, that nap is going to pop up. And this part here will be laid down. This is what gives you that knockdown look. And as I said, on PE design, you don't actually have something that says, quote, knockdown stitch. What you have is a net field stitch, but you have to manipulate that first as a background fill and then change the background fill on the main screen. Right? In addition, this still has a running stitch around it. You can do that. I am going to here though, take even that and make that a no-sew region because my background fill is going to kind of work its way around it and I really don't need that. So let's watch how this stitches out at this point. Let's click over here and let's, if you notice now I have a black, a red, and a black, but we're going to work on changing colors later, or you can use those in there simply for your color stops. And the first thing it's doing is it's stitching down our towel to our stabilizer. So that's the first thing it's doing. And it's going to go around twice and give it a nice stitch. So this is shown in the color black. However, you could put down the neck, whatever color you're going to do the knockdown stitch or whatever you want to do your border later. Now, it gave us the knockdown stitch in the middle of the O. Now, it's going to give us the knockdown stitch on the rest of the towel. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit so that we can watch it stitch out. And as it does, it's going to go back and forth one direction, and then it'll come back the other way. But if you see, it is no longer stitching underneath the words mom or over the word mom. It is stitching this net fill around the word mom. And this is going to make the word mom pop out for us. And let's speed this up just a little bit more so you can see. And it will fill in all around our wording. It does one direction and then it does the other. And we're almost there. And I'm going to pause it now. And I'm going to pull it down so it slows down a little bit. And the next thing it does is it switched us back to our black color and it's an outside edge. However, that's again is still set, I believe, at the straight stitch 2 times around. But let's go back and add something a little more decorative than that. Let me move this down just a little bit. Probably shouldn't because I'm not good at moving. All right. Let's decide we want some kind of pretty border around this. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to hit just select all. We now see everything, and we have our stitch around. We have the middle of the O. We have the rest of the background, and then we have the letters are gone. We don't need that anymore. But we have this last part. That was the final stitching around here. Let's choose that one. Let's select that, only that one. I want you to select the whole object. So we have just this one. We're going to go up here now and look at the shape, and we're going to look at this. Now, we still don't want to sew in the middle of this part. We just want that outer edge. But let's see what else we can choose. We could make it a zigzag satiny stitch. We could do a triple stitch, motif stitch, there's several stitches here you can use. Try different ones. But let's go to the motif stitch. And you see, I've already selected a heart as my motif stitch. But I want to show you how you can select what you like. Let's go over here, and we have it under our sewing attributes. It says the motif, and there's a little folder here. So you select this folder, and a lot of different motifs will come up for you. So you can choose some of these, scale, go on down and look at them. I do want to show you something. You will notice that, see, I already had that one. So like, this is a heart, but there's a line in it. Well, this is a heart, and the heart goes past that line. Well, what that is this is the line edge of our object, which is our heart here. So if you wanted a leaf, say, let's try this one, and let's just see how it would look. If we did something like this and said, okay. As you can see, it's got a leaf stitch that comes, it's putting it out a little bit, but it's also coming in. So you just have to kind of look at them and see how you like them. So let's go back and let's choose, like I said, I really like the heart, but I'm going to choose something different so you can see. I like that because it only was on the outer edge. And skip through there till you see something that you particularly like. I'm not quite sure how this will look. And that is going to run inside and out. So let's just go ahead and see how that looks. And watch what happens over here on our screen. Oh, that does look nice. I kind of like that. So you've got some little points all the way around that. That's very pretty. Let's go with that. You like, choose the heart. Okay. Now let's again look at our sewing order. We have this is our stitch to stitch the towel to the stabilizer or your fabric, whatever you're using, to your stabilizer. This is going to help secure and hold your piece from shifting. This was the fill stitch in the middle of our O. This, number 3, that I currently have it, is the fill stitch in the background here. And this last one is what I have chosen for the border. Let's see how this stitches out. Let's see if we can get all of it into the screen. And let's see how this whole thing stitches out. We need to select all because I'm on just the outer part. Let's select all. And we're going to watch it stitch out. This, again, this is our stitch that goes around twice. And what this is going to do is hold our fabric to our stabilizer to keep anything from shifting. Then it does that background stitch. First, it stitched the middle of that O for us. Next, it's going to do the background fill with our net stitch. We're going to move this up, speed that up a little bit. Now, I have this as a separate color, and as you see, this net fill is going around those letters. You don't really need an outline stitch on those. And here it goes back the other direction. After this finishes with that, it will start on our outline border. Now, this could have been done on an oval. It could have been done on a square. There's so many different ways to do it. But you need some type of object, the shape that's going to go around the letter. So that's why I had started with the shape. There it is. Isn't that easy? It's really not hard. Like I said, people are calling this a knockdown stitch. In PE design, it is a net fill that you have adjusted. But to get it to go around our letters, we first have to do a background fill. Make it a background fill. Then you can change it as to a net fill stitch. I hope this has helped you a lot. Be sure and subscribe to my channel. Be sure and give me a thumbs up. This is what helps me to keep putting out some free videos. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments, please put them below. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave me a message. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video and come hobby with us. It's the views of our supporters that help us to keep giving away free designs, free instruction, free videos. I love showing what I know how to do, and I would love for you to be able to share my content with others. Please remember to hit the subscribe and the like button. It truly helps us keep going.